wrong? Where do you start? What's wrong with the world? I mean, it's pretty basic. It sounds so simple, but then to think that that it's really important to be respected by as many people as possible, and to make yourself crazy trying to gain respect, and to wake up every single morning exhausted and work until you feel like you're going to die at the end of the day, and come home and sleep so you can get up and work at a job that you don't like, that isn't doing anything for you, so that you can eat and sleep and try and get away for 2 weekends a year. It's so desperately off the point.
Ver weg in de woestijn van Arizona ligt de Diamant Mountain University. Het is een spirituele universiteit die in 2004 is opgericht door Geshe Michael Roach. Hij is een monnik die na 25 jaar studie Tibetaans boeddhisme zijn kennis wil delen met zijn leerlingen.
Every human being wants to save the world. Every human being wants to take care of all the people in the world. Inside our heart, we have many levels of desire. Here is the food. We want food. Here we want sex. You know, here we want to be famous. But deep down, we want to save the world. We want to take care of all the people in the world. Everybody has this deep down. Some people are living here. Some people are living here. But after you get enough money and enough food and enough sex and enough fame, then you don't feel happy. You still want something else. And everybody wants to be the mother for everyone else.
Diamond Mountain University is typical of Geshe Michael having an idea or spark of an idea and planting a seed, or saying, I think we should do something. Let's build a university. Let's build a university in the Tibetan monastic tradition. So we won't charge anybody for classes. We'll do a free university. And let's build a university in the desert. In fact, let's make it an hour and a half from the nearest city, 30 minutes from the nearest place to buy groceries. It's as if someone were to say, let's think of the most difficult circumstances possible in which to build a university, and we'll start teaching people things that are important, and we'll see if they come.
Michael Roach werd in 1952 in Los Angeles geboren. Hij studeerde cum laude af aan de Princeton University in religie, de vroege Sanskriet en de Russische taal. Als eerste Amerikaan kreeg hij na 22 jaar Dharma-studie zijn Geshe-graad, meester van het boeddhisme. Sinds 1999 is hij dag en nacht samen met zijn spirituele partner Christy McNally.
I was a very successful student. I even went to the White House. The president gave me one medal for a good student, and towards the end of my study, my mother got cancer, breast cancer. And then I was thinking, all of this doesn't make any sense to me now. Because if she dies, if people can die like that, then what is the meaning? You have a big position, or you have a famous person, you have a medal from United States president, but if you die, then what is the meaning, you know? So last year of university, I went to meet the Tibetans, and I began to study with them, and then I stayed, and I finished 25 years study in the monastery. It says push, just so you know. Okay, come. My Lama, I lived with him for 30 years. I lived 25 years in the monastery. He taught me, he forced me to go to work. He said, you must go to the corporation. So I had to go, you know. Then I made a prayer, meditation, special meditation. What business should I do? I don't know any business. I don't know anything. I don't care about business. Then the answer came, you should make diamond business in the diamonds. And then 15 years I worked in the corporation.
For some reason, I knew I needed a teacher. I was in school, studying marine biology. I quit school. I broke up with my boyfriend. I quit my job. I gave up my house. I gave away all my belongings. And I went to find my teacher. I was on the East Coast. I was on the far East Coast of America, and I drove through every state between Florida and California. And I ended up at the far West Coast. There are these cliffs that drop off into the ocean. And I was there, and I thought, well, I can't keep driving. So I looked up Buddhism in the yellow pages, and I made a phone call. And this Buddhist nun answered the phone. And after months and months of speaking to people who didn't understand what my concerns were and who didn't know how to answer my questions, suddenly I was on the phone with a woman who understood exactly what I meant when I said, I need a teacher, I need to learn to meditate, and I need to learn to see deeper into what's happening in this world.
I came to Buddhism because I worked for Geshe Michael Roach. He was my boss. One day he came into the factory and he said, I have to teach a class tonight. He was on the phone and I overheard the conversation, and he got off the phone and I said to him, what class are you teaching? And he said, I'm teaching a class in Buddhism. And naturally I wanted to go because my mind was very spiritually oriented. I had just finished studying theology, and I begged him. I said, could I please come to your class? And the first class that I attended was on the Diamond Cutter Sutra. And this is the crux of emptiness, how you perceive the world.
De laatste 5 maanden heeft Geshe Michael Roach samen met Christy McNally diverse landen bezocht om dharma-lessen te geven. Deze lessen zijn vermengd met ervaringen die hij opgedaan heeft tijdens zijn loopbaan in de diamantindustrie. 'S Avonds en 's nachts leefde en studeerde hij in een klooster vlak buiten New York. En overdag werkte hij in de diamantindustrie in het hart van de stad.
Some religious people say money is bad. Money is a bad thing. This kind of Buddhism is different. It says you should be happy. You should have everything you need. Your health should be good, strong, good health. Stay young. It's good, not bad thing. And you should have a comfortable place, and you should have a good income. And you should have a good partner who is faithful and a good person, and you can work together, you can help many people. I started with $7 in my pocket, $7, I remember. And now that company is $250 million per year, $250 million per year. We own jewelry.com. So if you want to see, you just jewelry.com. And how did we do? How to go from $7 to $250 million? How to do that? And why to do that? You see? Is it helpful for people? There's a key. There's one special key in Buddhism. If some people look at it, they think it's worthless. Then if other people see it, if they know it's a diamond, then it's very expensive. But by itself, it's neither one. It's not stone, it's not diamond. It's just some rock, you see? So we give it the meaning. We see as valuable. It's not valuable from its own side. So we believe all things are like that. How I think about him or her is coming from my mind. It's not coming from them. So this is like potential. If you know this, you can do anything.
When I hold this up and all of you look at it, everybody says, I see a pen. But if there was a little puppy dog and he came in here and I went like this, he would grab it in his mouth like this. And what do you think he sees? Yeah, some kind of bone or chew toy or something like that. Is the idea pen coming from me, or is the idea pen coming from the pen? From me, right? Because if it was coming from the pen, everyone whoever saw this red stick would have to also see it as a pen. So it has to be coming from me. This is the key, you know? Things that we see in the world are coming from our mind. For me, Christy is a fellow student, so it's very difficult to, I have a challenge seeing her as a teacher. I mean, she's a great teacher, but she's not my guru. She's a great teacher, and she has a lot of power. I've known her since she first came to study with Geshe Michael, and since the very beginning, she's had a very strong practice. She's a very strong meditator.
I traveled alone through India and Nepal, and I started meeting the teachings. People started teaching me how to meditate, and then I ended up in a monastery in Nepal called Kopan Monastery, which is the first monastery that ever taught Westerners, I believe, established by Lama Yeshe. And I spent a month there. And I realized, I got this dawning realization that this is what I wanted to spend the rest of my life doing, that I understood for the first time how the world worked, how the world really worked, and how I could create anything I wanted to happen if I only had the training. We met, he was teaching in New York, and I went to have an interview with him, and we sat down, and that was that, yeah.
We are teaching major political people in the world. We are having discussions, this teaching. For example, capitalism. It says we must compete for this pen. There's only one pen. So I should take from her. Market share, competition, you know. That's capitalism. Communism says you take half, I take half. But not so useful. We both have small piece. Yeah. If you also come, then we only have 1/3 of a pen. In this system, I will give you the pen, and then I know I will get more pens. So the amount of pens in the world is always increasing. If you learn this system, the amount of money in the world will increase. Everyone can be rich from this system, because we are talking about where does money come from.
Working for Geshe Michael Roach in the diamond business was very exciting. When you got on his floor, he was on the 3rd floor. It had a different energy from any other floor in the business. He had the amazing ability to work with many, many different cultures. And for all of us, we felt like one big family. There was hierarchy, but still there was none. He had many sides as a boss. You know, he trained me to handle a $30 million account, and When he needed to be tough, he would be tough. And he was also kind. But he got you very motivated. And he had this ability to find out what you were good at, and what you would like to do. So therefore, any job that you were doing was something that you enjoyed. So working was a joy. Over 15 years now, he's evolved into a yogi. You know, there's a different person. I remember, like, when I met him, he wore just these black shoes that were really ugly. I mean, they were so conservative, and he would buy the same pair of black shoes every year, and I would laugh at them.
I used to take the profit from the company. Like, if we make $5 million profit, then I'd call the accounting CFO, accounting people. I say, come to the office. Every 6 months, I did every 6 months. Come to my office. Okay, how much profit this 6 months? We have $5 million clear. Okay, I want you to give it to this charity or that charity or that charity or that charity, like that. Then they say, the new guys, you know, they don't understand. They say, oh, Mr. Roach, yes, we added the numbers, yes? That's $5 million. I know. You want to give away all the profit of the company for 6 months? Of course. But you should reinvest it. You should reinvest the money. I said, what do you think I'm doing? It's a karma bank. We are living in a very bad time. We have to change it. We have to change it. We have to show people how to make money. How? You tell me, how? Must give, no choice, no choice. Don't do investment, risky investment, safe investment, risky business, safe business, work hard, don't work hard, invest, no, put in stocks, no, bonds, no, nothing matters, nothing. You can do anything, doesn't matter, just give. You will increase the amount of money in the world. Everybody can have money. So it's not a selfish thing, you see? It's not a selfish thing.
Doing this university in the desert is a perfect metaphor because the desert is very starved for water. It's very prickly. It's very tenacious. I came from a family where many tragedies happened. There was a lot of illness. There was mental illness. There was suicide. People died. I lived with different people. There was a lot of suffering around me, and I couldn't understand where the suffering came from and why, if there was a being that could fix it all, why they wouldn't do it, you know. So as a kid, I couldn't understand that. And then I kind of gave up. The slightest bit of water makes everything bloom in the desert. So it's symbolic of our efforts. Our efforts sometimes seem like you just have to hang on. Everything hurts. Everything's prickly. But the slightest bit of a hint that you're making spiritual progress, everything begins to bloom.
Every time you think something, then a seed is put into the mind. Actually, Tibetans say the mind is here. They don't say here. And inside heart chakra, there's a small consciousness. One drop, small drop. Inside here is all the recording. Everything you ever heard, everything you ever said is here. So during the day, we often do small negative things, not big. Like I went to the diamond factory, and I'm thinking, oh, he's not cutting very well, or they don't have good setup, or, you know, I would put this chair over here, and I would put the machine over there, and, you know, small things. I'm thinking criticism. I'm thinking. Then this puts many small seeds in the mind.
It's all about planting seeds. It's just like a garden. The way that the mind perceives things and the way that the mind projects our reality is that every single finger snap that we are aware of what we do or what we say or what we think, I'm planning 65 different mental impressions in my mind. They say karmic seeds, and they are stored in the mind, and then they germinate and they grow, and later they are projected into the outside world. And that's what's causing our reality. So what we do and what we say and what we think creates our reality, but it doesn't create our reality in the present moment. It creates our reality in the future.
And so not only do we build this university far from anything, but we build it in a part of the country where there's rattlesnakes and scorpions and poisonous spiders, and in the first year 120 people come. And in the second year, which starts Thursday, tomorrow, I think 180 people are registered. And we teach courses that are unusual for a traditional university. We teach courses in dance, in meditation, in alternative medicine like Chinese medicine, things that you might not find at a typical university, but things that are all aimed at the same thing, at bringing peace, at bringing happiness, at helping people to understand these ideas of karma and emptiness.
Well, we're in the high reaches of Diamond Mountain University, where most of the classes don't take place here, and this is kind of in the heights of the university. This is near where long-term retreats take place. Just there and there are retreat cottages where people do solitary retreats. This place is mostly dedicated to quiet and to contemplation. We are having a class in this building now, learning how to guide people in their professional and personal lives through Buddhist ethics. So I've seen Geshe-la when he's, I was involved with fundraising with him for a long time, so I would go to these meetings with him and sponsors. He doesn't think about money the way that other people who are being generous think about money. He thinks about money in a different way. And I can't quite put my finger on it, but he doesn't think he has to do anything outside of his principles to gain anything from anyone. So, and that's kind of a magical way to live. You know, the way that he lives, it looks very dangerous, but he says it's the only sure thing. So it looks dangerous to us, but it's the only sure way to become wealthy. And it seems to work. I mean, watching him over 10 years, I've never seen him want for anything, and he provides for everyone all the time, more and more and more and more.
Diamond business is dirty business in some ways. In South Africa, the mines are very dangerous. In India, to cut the diamond is all children. We don't buy the diamond from people are using children. If you hurt other people to make money, then you yourself will get sick. You must help all the workers, you must help them. So in India, we are feeding 3,000 people every day. And we gave all the money. I don't keep anything. I have a problem with my shoe. It's falling apart, you see? And because we don't spend anything.
In April of 2003, as the 3-year silent retreat was beginning to come to a close, Geshe Michael was beginning to meet with the people who were directing the many projects that he had originated. And so this is the first time I met him. It was at a meeting of all of the Worldview project directors in the desert in Arizona. It was a very touching first meeting. They were inside the boundary of the retreat where people traditionally did not go. And so I was led to a yurt, which was a yurt they used as a temple. I've had the pleasure of driving him sometimes from one talk to another talk. And as soon as he and Christy get into the car, it gets quiet and the computers come out and they start translating ancient texts. So I see him as an example of somebody who understands what it's like to work and to work hard for something that you really believe. There's a lot of us, so maybe up 1 minute each to do a very brief introduction. I'll start. I'm Gary Hirsch. I'm the president of the Enlightened Business Institute, and I'm one of the 2 instructors for this course. And what I hope to get out of this is some really good experience teaching people how to use the skills that have really served us as we build this business. And so EBI approaches traditional business problems, mixing traditional business solutions with karma and emptiness, this understanding of how things do work. And so we work with people at a conventional level to help solve business problems and also to help solve personal problems. You know, invariably somebody comes to us for help with their business and they get the help that they're looking for. And they think, well, if you can help me with my business, maybe you can also help me with my marriage.
Geshe Michael kreeg vooral bekendheid door zijn boek The Diamant Cutter. Een van de kernredes van de Boeddha, de Diamant Cutter Sutra, werd het uitgangspunt voor het boek. Op een heldere manier worden oplossingen geboden voor dilemma's in zowel het zakelijk als het persoonlijk leven. Het boek werd een bestseller. Hij kreeg vele lucratieve aanbiedingen, maar koos ervoor zich voor 3 jaar in stilte terug te trekken met zijn spirituele partner Christy McNally.
In my class, maybe if there are 100 monks, only 2 or 3 will become Geshe. And then they have permission to study Tantric. Tantric means secret teaching. And in Tantra, oftentimes you have a partner. You should have a partner. Then by tradition, you should go for 3 years silent retreat together. And so we finished that 2 years ago. We finished that together.
Silent retreat for 3 years. It was very difficult, but it was the most powerful thing that I could ever do with my time. It was the most meaningful thing I've ever done with my life, and probably will be the most meaningful thing. Because when you go into retreat, you are working directly with the mind. You don't have these outside distractions of the false world around you. You're working directly with the seeds in your heart, and because you're so consciously working with them, you are able to change them faster, much, much faster than you would just in a normal life.
This is a meditation hut, and we'll be doing short and extended meditation retreats in these little structures. It's a perfect backrest for meditation during the day. And one can store one's food in this box here, and clothes and other personal effects in this box over here. And 2 altars or bookshelves. So actually there's everything one needs in here. So we'll be building about 50 meditation huts for the 3-year retreat coming up in 5 years.
3-year retreat isn't a goal, you know. 3-year retreat is something that you do as a preliminary, you know, to be able to start to look at how to help people. You know, it's not about getting away from people. It's not about being by yourself. It's not about, you know, doing your practice, you know. It's about being able to help people, you know. And there's no way you're going to do it. You know, there's no way to do it unless you become unless you achieve your fullest potential, you know. And the only way you can do that is through these kind of rather extreme measures, but they work. They work, you know, and I know they work. So that's why I do them. It's the same reason I put gas in my car.
We'll be going into retreat in 2010 again to do 3 years, but I want to ask permission to stay longer, maybe 6 years, or even longer than that, once we get started and we're settled. So yes, we'll do more retreat. We did Georgia and Alabama tantric retreats.
If you train yourself for years, good training, how to meditate, then one day when you are meditating, you will see a higher reality, ultimate reality. Sometimes we call emptiness. It doesn't mean everything is black. It doesn't mean you stop thinking about anything. It doesn't mean everything is illusion or something like that. It doesn't mean that. It means that there is a higher reality. And if you learn to meditate well, you can see it. On the day that you see this reality, your mind opens completely. For a short time, maybe 10 minutes, something like that. Short time. But in that time, you can see every world, every star, all the worlds. You can see all the people there. In one moment, you can see all of them. The face of every person who is alive anywhere in this universe, you can see them all. In that moment, you can see them all. And you see that you will serve them. You will take care of them. You can say like an angel. So what is similar to that light which I saw? Then you think a diamond.
Several years ago in New York. Yes, I was at the Three Jewels in New York, and it's a small center. It was a small center back then, and I was there for a meditation class, and she walked in. She was looking for someone to take care of her dog. So I ended up babysitting the dog for almost 2 years now. Yeah. So I came from a Christian background, and I just never believed in a creator God, so for many years I just didn't even think about it. And then as I got older, I started to question certain things. Went around to a lot of different teachings, but always kind of more Buddhist-oriented, different lineages, but I really was attracted more to the Tibetan Buddhism, to the lineage of the Dalai Lama, and then I found Geshe Michael to be my best teacher because he's has really transformed the Tibetan into English, so you know, all the scriptures, so we can really learn it without having, you know, too much in between. You know, it's just really a pure lineage. I came out with Anikalma, and the next thing I knew, I was packing up from New York. I left my business, I left my house, and I moved out to the middle of the desert, and we're here. And
I think the most important change that's happened in me as a result of knowing Geshe Michael is that I'm more kind to my mother. Not that I was cruel to her before, but I'm very careful to treat her with a great deal of care, as much care and respect as I'm capable of, and that increases every year. It's something that's very important, you know, that I know is very important, and so I work on that. You know, I don't know. I hope, I doubt this is true, but I hope I've become less self-absorbed. I feel less needy, you know. which is so good. I think so important if you want to help other people. To be completely consumed by your own needs, then you won't help people. So I think he has done a lot to force me to become independent emotionally and spiritually, to be of more use to other people. Slowly. I mean, I'm still it's very early days for me. But I feel I'm going in that direction. I feel that's a very important change.
Geshe Michael and Christy are together all the time because it's a very specific monastic practice of exchanging oneself with the other person. So Geshe Michael is always thinking he's Christy, and he's always thinking what she's wanting, and he's always focused, and we call it selfishly, on serving everything that she wants because she is he. And then we can transfer that deep level of knowing how to serve another person completely to all beings.
The main thing about spiritual partner, though, that you have to know is, you think of the person as your Lama. So each of us are trying to serve each other as the Lama and as the holy teacher. And that's the basis of the spiritual practice of partnerships. And very difficult when you're with someone 24 hours a day to see them always very holy, But it's very fast practice, very fast path.
So I have to think she is my Lama and my angel. And she has to think I am her Lama, her angel. Then this is like a meditation all day. And then one day it changes and becomes a real thing. There's one special teaching called the Angel of Diamond. And within that teaching, there's what we call the Goddess Code, the Code of the Goddess. And it's a collection of 8 teachings, 8 pledges that you make when you are trying to find a spiritual partner, and then how to keep that spiritual partner, and then how to get all your worldly goals and also your divine goals. Christy La is going to talk about the word goddess, because she's such a goddess. And she sticks me with all the boring stuff. I get to talk about the code part. So, Christy.
He only says stuff like that to me when we're in the middle of, a few hundred people. At home I don't get goddess and all that stuff. But, so I really appreciate you coming because it really, every once in a while it's really nice to hear. So goddess. That's what this little very cryptic thing in the middle of the top of your reading says. There's some sort of desire inside of us for to become whole beings. And traditionally, males would have a little bit more of the male energy in them, and then females would have a little bit more of female energy in them. And so you would be attracted to somebody who had an energy that you lacked, because inside you have this burning desire to become a whole being. The use of these kind of sexual energies inside of us, that's like a base form of a higher sort of energy, of an energy that will make us whole.
Well, what is it that you want? You see, so often we are dissatisfied. We just feel dissatisfied, and we're not thinking, what do you want? You see, there's an Annie DeFranco song. We heard it today. How's it go?
What kind of paradise am I searching for?
I've got everything I want and still I want more.
Yeah, I don't know if you know that song. It's called Gray. It's really beautiful. But anyway, you're just dissatisfied. Jesus could walk in here right now and say, I want to be your partner, if you're a lady. And after a week, you'd be dissatisfied. You see what I mean? It's your condition. Everything about your partner, you know, good or bad, is bouncing back from something you did to somebody else before. You see what I mean? What you call karma. They call it the echo effect, okay? So, you know, if your partner is like, I don't know, nice to you, it's not an accident. It's not just chance. It's not because you talked him into it this morning, right? It's because you were nice to somebody else before. You see what I mean? And then the opposite too. If there's something about your partner that you don't like, you know, if they tend to pick on you or something, or never call you goddess, except in public talks. That's an echo, you see?
Yep.
I got married more than once, and in my last marriage, I was actually I married a beautiful person, but they had a terrible temper. I left because he physically beat me. I couldn't help him, and also was afraid that he could he threw me on my head. You know, you can kill someone. We stayed friends for a while. We would have lunch or dinner together. Sometimes I would ask for some time because for me it was difficult. He had someone else. I didn't have someone else. Sometimes too hard. Because I had really thought, you know, we thought we could help each other and we couldn't. And that was hard. And then one of the things that makes me think that maybe he was an angel is it came to me very strongly that I was supposed to become a nun, an ordained Buddhist nun. And it was funny because it came almost forced on me when they say that your karma ripens. It was like that because I thought, what?
His way of teaching you to become a nun is a lot different from in the regular tradition, so it's more fun. You know, I could study yoga, I've studied dance, I'm trained to do art. I mean, I'm trained in a lot of the arts. My life is very full. We're translating together, and the way that he's teaching us to translate is in a totally different way. We don't use old Buddhist terms. We write very simply, everyday language. You know, we don't put in the 4 this and the 5 of that and all that terminology. And I love it because when I first started studying Buddhism, it was very hard for me to get into. It took me a year to get into all the terminology and everything else. And it's just refreshing that for me that you know, you can go to a class and you could just get the concepts in a totally different way.
It's really hot, so I'm sure my hair is curling up, right? Do we know why this hair curls this way and that hair curls the other? You know, there is a karmic reason. And that's why those things exist in your world. That's why you see them that way. The fact that nothing exists any other way is what we call emptiness. And you guys must be sold on it. That's Diamond Mountain's trademark, right? Is to drive karma and emptiness home. Here at Diamond Mountain, there's a few reasons to teach you. You don't get out here in the middle of the desert. I mean, look around. Where are you? If you're here because there's something yearning in your heart. If you're here because you're very serious about changing yourself and changing your world. And so we'll teach you things here that may not normally be openly taught. You see? Because you have the seed, or you wouldn't be here. This is a place of extremes. This is a place where you're going to go to an extreme. We have a lot of seeds collected over beginningless time, countless eons, right? At the moment of your death, what pops up at that moment throws you into your next rebirth.
The reason why we are doing retreat is that we are working on a rebirth, to have a miraculous rebirth. And I made this meditation so that we could think while we are in retreat what it would be like. You have to put those seeds in your mind when the time comes that, you know, you're not thinking, oh my God, what am I going to do? You know, this time you're preparing for death every second of the day. So with this meditation, you're actually on your bed, kind of going through this process. So visualize yourself laying on a bed where you would want to transcend your spirit into your next rebirth. So paint a vivid picture, like if you want to be in Barbados or India or Diamond Mountain, wherever you want to be. Visualize what clothes you're wearing. And visualize your body with a golden color, like light. And then visualize on your out-breath that you're just sending light, the new you, to every being on every planet.
We're going up to Geshe Michael and Christie's yurt, which is the same yurt that they did their 3-year, 3-month, 3-day retreat in. And we transplanted it here to Diamond Mountain and put it on a nice high spot. And they are still most comfortable sleeping and doing a lot of their practices in the yurt. So today you're going to be seeing them do their yoga practice, an abbreviated portion of their yoga practice, which they do every single day, and they do their meditation. They do a very strict practice and study in the morning. So when you go there, they're going to be absolutely silent, because not speaking quiets the mind and makes the spiritual practice much stronger.
so I was no, because it started to rain, so I was protected. Yeah.
What is special today is it's the first class in our new temple, and this is all built by volunteer help and miraculously built over the summer in hot weather, and it's our first class of the term that we're going to be studying for the first tantric initiation at Diamond Mountain University, so it's special for a number of reasons. And we're all back together again after 3 months of not seeing each other. And it's raining, which is auspicious for Dharma. It's raining teachings, so.
Welcome.
Hi.
I think she's inside.
Rainbow. Very auspicious, right?
Wow. Wow. Please be comfortable. Those of you who are new, we are studying Jetsun Kappa's greatest book on emptiness. It's called Gomba Rabsel. Say Gomba. Rabsel. And a commentary on it from Sereme Monastery. Very old commentary, maybe 400 years old. And great commentary called Uma. Say Uma. Chiden. Uma means middle way, Madhyamika, emptiness. And Chidun means overview or general presentation. So not only you have to pay attention to the tone, you have to pay attention to how long the thing is, okay? Le means your brain. Le, okay? You have a problem with your le. In Tibetan, they say, oh, le macha. He has a problem with his brain. Le, okay? Le, say le. It's cut short, hear it? Le. Le. Then le is the word for lelo. What's lelo? Lelo means be lazy. You just learned your first Tibetan word. One more time. Le. 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 Lazy brain, okay. Okay. And you can watch the screen and we'll do it together. And you won't be perfect. And just stick in there. And then one day you'll find yourself doing it. You know, my first big debate in the monastery, I just did it. And then later I'm like, wow, I did it, you know, and I didn't realize I was doing it. You just walk in and you do it, right? So keep going. Just make the noise. Follow the program. You will be a translator if you don't give up. Right here. Okay. So consciousness is still there, yeah? And then he'll hear what we say, okay? Just passed away, okay? Consciousness is still there. So let's go through those three causes again for a bodhi. You want to be a bodhisattva, you're going to have these three things. What are they? Great compassion. The state of mind that transcends duality or is getting some kind of understanding about emptiness. And then bodhicitta. Trying to be concerned about other people's pain, other beings' pain, okay? Because that would trigger bodhicitta and an understanding of emptiness. And those three together would make you a bodhisattva. And then you'd be on the path. Okay, we'll do a prayer. Do a prayer for the bunny. My mother died, then I want to know why. What can you do anything or not? Most people, they don't talk about death because really they don't believe you can fix it.
The more you know about this thing with the pen, the less afraid you are of death. because the more control you have over your future. You just understand how things work, and you understand what you are planting for the future, and you have some sort of control in this completely out of control world. You know, it gives you all the power. Understanding these things, it gives you all the power.
And if you have good meditation, you can see what will happen. You know what's going to happen. So not afraid at all. Some teachers, they say, don't be afraid. Just relax. You know, I don't say that. It's a dangerous world. It's a very bad world. You will die, accident, gun, something will happen, disease. It's very, you shouldn't be calm. You know, I have a little bit trouble with Master Thich Nhat Hanh that way. Oh, just be calm, breathe slowly. What to breathe slowly? I'm getting old. My mother died in cancer. I'm going to die in accident. What to breathe slowly? Why? You know, breathe slowly. You know, so I'm going to die. People are dying in Iraq. You know, people died in New York. You know, what is this? Breathe slowly. I don't know. You know, can we do something or not? You know, can you stop it? Is death a natural condition for a human being or not? Buddha said no. This is Buddha's real teaching. Kegan-nachi. Kegan-nachi means birth is not accident, getting old is not accident, getting sick is not accident, dying is not accident. In the Heart Sutra, he says, Maripa sepa me pa negashi me gashi sepe paru yamento. You can stop death.
Wilt u dvd's bestellen van onze programma's? Bel dan 040 282 0022. Als u meer wilt weten over onze uitzendingen, vraag dan de gratis programmagids aan op nummer 035 677 1611. Of kijk op www.boeddhistischeomroep.nl.